Chris Baker suffers from Asperger's syndrome, which means he finds social situations awkward and as a result barely speaks to anyone, but he has managed to express himself with his incredible gift.
When Chris Baker was diagnosed with Asperger's, he struggled at school and eventually was removed from mainstream education. Separated from his brothers during the day, he spent almost a year at home, and it was during this time he picked up a pencil and began to draw. The results are incredible. His amazing eye for detail means that his pencil drawings are often mistaken for photographs. Listening to Michael Jackson's music inspired his early work, but more recently, characters from his favourite movies and programmes, such as Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones, have meant he's now able to make a career from his art, selling more than 70 pictures over this bank holiday weekend. Chris's story gives hope to many people with the condition that being different can sometimes lead to the most amazing success.
Well, look, we've got a selection of Chris's pictures here, along with his parents, Sam and Stuart. Chris prefers to stay out of the spotlight, though, but he's watching very nearby.
It's a remarkable talent he has. When did he realise that he had this extraordinary ability to draw these pictures which look like photographs, Sam?
Chris has drawn for quite a long time. As a toddler, he'd draw little tiny things. Again, being on the autistic spectrum, he has different subjects that he takes a huge fascination with. And as a toddler, it was the war, everything about the cannons, the guns and the bullets. If you showed him a bullet, he would know what gun that would have fired from and how fast it would have travelled. And we'd find like corners of newspapers ripped off with tiny, intricate things drawn on them. But that was all we saw. It wasn't until he left school when he was 14 that this really began to happen. Because when we removed him, there was no other form of education. We fought for some time for something. But Christopher is not special enough to be in a special school. And in mainstream school, the support he needed, he didn't receive. So he didn't cope.
So, Stuart, as parents, and you want the best for your child, you want your child to have the easiest and most comfortable life they possibly can. I can't imagine how difficult that was. What was it like for you to realise that he had this incredible gift, and a gift that not only creates this amazing art, but clearly allows him to express how he's feeling?
Absolutely. He's lucky he's found this outlet to be able to express himself and let his anxieties go. Yeah, I had no idea he could draw to this talent. He'd just be in his room for hours on end, and I was wondering what he was getting up to. But then one day he just came up with this portrait. Will Smith was the first one he brought out, and I had the same reaction as probably you do when you see them the first time. I just couldn't believe it. I was astounded.
Yeah.
And then...
They're extraordinary. As you say, it's hard to believe they're not photographs,
yes, absolutely.
but they genuinely are drawings. Sam, it's going to help Chris, isn't it? Because, you know, he doesn't want to be involved in the interview, completely understand that. You know, sort of there's challenges for him when it comes to social interaction. But he's able now to sort of use this as an opportunity to further a career in art, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's what we're doing. We registered him in April of last year as being self-employed. So he is CJB Art. That is him, Christopher James Baker. And at the moment we're going to comic conventions around the country. Bournemouth on the weekend was the furthest we've taken him.
So what was that like?
Fantastic. What a lovely place.
The response.
Lovely people.
We sold out of certain images, completely sold out. We met Sylvester McCoy, who signed his portrait of himself as the Doctor, and it was just wonderful. And when you connect with people, and because they do look at them and they think they're photos. I say, no, my 19-year-old son, well, actually 20 today, year old son has drawn these. And then they get drawn in, and then you explain that he's on the autistic spectrum and that communication for him, although we can have a full-blown conversation with him, the anxieties behind speaking to people he doesn't know, and he gets so frustrated and worked up inside that he then becomes a hermit and very, very reclusive.
And this is the antithesis of this, of course, Stuart, because he's got to show his pictures and he's got to sell them. He's selling himself and the art.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why he's normally hidden behind one of the display boards, and mum and dad are out front talking to people and getting them to...
The public face of the company.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, as we say, we're a team. Christopher draws, because Stuart and I can't do that. I do the talking, you know, coming from an educational background, I can talk for Britain pretty much. And Stuart's the roadie, he does all the driving. So we are the perfect team.
And did you say it was his birthday?
Today.
It is, bless him. Yeah, what a way to celebrate.
Well, we're absolutely delighted you could come in and share some of these extraordinary pictures, because they really are absolutely breathtaking. Just to see them in such close detail as well, just very, very special.
Lovely
Thank you so
to see.
much. And thank you to Chris as well.